Another 6 o'clock is here. Wake up and meet the morning, dear. Brand new day, it's a brand new slate. Like Barack say, yes I can. Don't let the worries of yesterday hold you down on this lovely day. Well, look up in the mirror and say, yes I can. Open your face, open your face. Nothing away, nothing away. Kani mukwala kabo. Magana marekena blow. Nothing away, nothing away. Open your face, open your face. Magana marekena blow. Kani mukwala kabo.
Just do it, just do it. Just do it, just do it. Just do it, time is ticking. Just do it, just do it. Tired of lying to yourself late. Don't you know you are your best bet? Who you waiting for, who you waiting for? You've got all you need more. They will only help when it's convenient. Tell you all of this is for experience. She put no on your body and your wild hair. Just take a step and things will fall in place. Even when time flies, no one can catch it. So don't waste all your regret it. Your time is now, your time is now. Just believe it, take it, yes I can.
Find your faith,
Find your faith. I
not
tell
turn
my
one way,
way,
not turn one way. Kani mukwala kabo. Magana marekena blow. Not turn one way, not turn one way. Find your faith,
find your faith.
Magana marekena blow. Kani mukwala kabo.
Don't wait, the time will never be just right. Start from where you're standing now. Work with what you have. Work with what you got.
No one said it would be easy. Anyone that ever made it said it wasn't easy. Hey, well, look up in the mirror and say, yes I can. Open your faith, open your faith. That's the way, that's the way. Kani mukwala kabo. Magana marekena blow.
All right, welcome everyone once. All right. Good. Here we are. All right, welcome once again. And we are going to take the next few minutes, as we've already learned, to review the various chapters or topics we've been given to review in this book. And I hope we are going to enjoy our time together. It's a collective thing. So are you ready for this?
Yes, 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 we are.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Good. All right. I would want us to kick it up straight away. And the first, I would want us to do it this way. Instead of one person talking throughout, when we pick one question, it goes through all of us together. Then we pick the next one. And if you are ready for it, you can just take it over as soon as possible. Now, I would want to start with the first thing on our list today. Good. Throughout the various chapters we were given to review, was there any of the stories that you felt it resonated with your personality in person as a reader? Was there any of the stories that really kicked you like that? And as they always say, ladies first, happy, let's move on. Was there any story that resonated with you?
Okay, thank you so much. So, first of all, thank you everyone who is joining live and being able to participate in this session. Before we dive into the discussion, perhaps we could just introduce ourselves and tell our audience who we are and what we are into before we come in there. So before I go, my name is Happy Bruce, and I work at the MasterCard Foundation as a health communications associate. I'm a medical laboratory scientist by profession, and I'm passionate about arts and being able to use that to help other people speak to issues of social change and empowerment. So that's a bit about me. And Letters of Hope to My Younger Self is a timeless piece that has been put together. And I can't pick one particular story that I feel resonates with my personal experience, because I find that there are pieces of experiences that I have been through that everyone has been through. So every a story in there, I have experienced a bit of it. And it begs the question that the scripture says in First Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13 that there is no temptation that has seized you except that which is common to man. So all these inspirational and great leaders and phenomenal people have already walked that path, and some of us get the privilege to learn from their vulnerability, to learn from their authentic life stories that they've shared. So for me, I can't pick just one story, but I feel like there are bits and pieces that I currently experience that all these people have been through. And I just want to take the opportunity to thank everyone who actually, contributed to making Letters of Hope to My Younger Self a reality. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy. Darius, introduce yourself and take over as soon as possible. Chris,
Yeah,
Darius is
Francis.
off, so he's back. Yeah, he's back. Darius, please
I'm back.
introduce yourself and let's move.
Okay. All right. Since I'm back, then my new nickname is Terminator. So, uh, so my name is Darius. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be joined by amazing minds and brilliant people as yourself, and obviously, the authors of the book has given us this opportunity and privilege to be able to share our thoughts on this particular piece that they have delved greatly into and spent a lot of time and energy and resources to produce for the collective benefit of all. Um, I am a young professional in the hospitality industry. Uh, I also have uh, an interest in technology, and I am currently working on a few social interventions when it comes to young people and how to groom them to be able to keep the values and then the skill sets that help them to become contributors to our society. Um, your question about which story or which piece resonated most with my personal experience or my personality, I would say, like Happy Bruce said, there are bits and pieces of the stories in there that have or that strike or that resonate with a particular part of your life, you know. But then I would say that the one that really hit me was the the story "The Race Is Not for the Swift" by Samuel Kirk Mills. He The story is an amazing story to me because we share a common background when it comes to how he navigated the challenges that he faced. So for me, I would say that would be the most resonating story in the entire book for me. Would you like me to go into the story a little bit, or we'll go into that later?
We'll go into that later. Chris, let's hear
Yeah,
from you.
Francis. Francis. Please, I hope you can hear me now.
Sure.
Hello.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, it has really been a struggle for me. I think the network was not working in the room. So I had to come outside and I was looking for a place I could sit so that I could join the panel. I'm sorry for all that. And I must say I'm very glad to be part of this. My name is Christabella. I'm Aka Christabella. That's my name. And Francis, we are teachers, Please, we are teachers. But at the moment, I am
I'm on study leave. I'm no more on the field teaching. I'm no more in the classroom. I'm on study leave, so I'm actually studying now, a student. But professionally, we are teachers. Okay, so the part of the book that actually was in line with a personal experience was by Miss Elizabeth. She said, in the long run, consistency will always beat talent. And I could actually trace it to something that happened to me when I was in JHS and SHS. Whilst I was growing up in the lower primary, from let me say from kindergarten to JHS, I was always at the first position with my class. So actually, village champion, I saw myself to be a champion. And I think at a point, complacency set in. So I didn't see the need for me to sit down and study. But then I was proved wrong. It's not it's not like that. If even if you have the talent, I think you should work at it, because even if when a catalyst is is very sharp, and over time you don't continue to sharpen it, but you continue to use a catalyst, I think at a point it's going to blank and you can't use it again. So that's the whole thing. So when I start for my BEC, the result I was actually looking for, I didn't get. When I start for the BEC, I didn't even get a single number. Someone who was on top of my classmates, you understand? And there were other classmates who did well. And I think I didn't learn my lessons. In SHS too, the same. I was actually doing well in SHS. I remember in SHS, at a point I was teaching my colleagues literature. I was the one handling them, and my teachers liked me so much. But I think before one two, I relaxed. I was not studying. I never took my study serious. And it happened again. When I sat for the one two, I didn't perform well at all. With math, I had to sit again for not best. So when I read that particular topic, I was like, oh, it's very true. It's very true. Even if you are talented, if you are very good, if you think it's for you, music was born in you, and you are music, and you don't practice. I think after some time, or with time, someone who was not even born to sing, but keeps on practicing, is going to sing beautifully, more beautifully than you do. So I think in whatever field we find ourselves, we should try and always practice and always work hard. There's nothing like I'm talented, and for that matter, I'm going to be there without doing anything. So that particular line reminded me of my issue in JHS and SHS. Thank you.
Okay. So, Chris, your background has, I think it's from your device, a bit of some noise, but it's okay.
Hello.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, so does it mean everything I said you didn't hear?
Oh no, we heard you. We heard you. We heard you.
Okay,
So
so
you can read
actually
that.
my conclusion was like, uh, there is nothing like you are talented. You are so talented that for you don't need to practice. In the long run, consistency and hard work is going to be talent. And
That's right.
it reminded me of what happened to me in JHS and SHS when I didn't learn, because actually I saw
I got
myself to
that.
be the last for me. I know, you understand. So that it was in line with a personal experience of mine. So in all our fields, we should
That's
try
right.
and work hard and be consistent. And I think that is what is going to give us the fruit that we look forward to having. Yes.
That's
Is
all
it
right.
okay?
Thank you.
Yes.
For my testing, yeah, it's okay. Got you. For myself, even before I talk about my personal experience in relation to the book, I want to ask: is there anybody that felt like whilst reading the book, it looks like it is the book of the moment. Did anybody feel like that? Because for me, I know we will zoom into this part of the whole conversation, but I felt like the book came in time. It's a contemporary book for this time. I don't know if anybody felt like that.
Hello, Francis. I really felt like that, you know. Though I saw the book on Facebook, but like letters of hope to my younger son, what's this book about? And for me, I want to read every book. But when I received the book and after reading the foreword, I cried. I cried. After reading the foreword, I was like, wow, this book is something everybody needs to read at the moment. Because I felt like this is the time we need people who have been there, who are this is a part of their autobiography, so that they feel like it's not like somebody is saying, oh, and they said and she said, they themselves are saying, and it really came on time and
That's,
at the right time. Yeah.
that's all right. That's all. Darius, did you feel like it's the book of the moment? Did you feel like that?
Of course,
Um,
absolutely,
sorry,
absolutely.
before okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. So I just wanted to just bring Christabel, I just wanted to let you know there's a bit of feedback we are receiving from your end. So it would be great if you could just quickly disconnect and rejoin the team. But please, Darius, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So yes, to answer
Yeah.
your question, Francis, yes, absolutely. I felt the same way, and it's it's very, you know, it's giving you this kind of a deja vu kind of feeling where you go like, oh, have I seen this before? Have I heard this before? Have I been in this situation before? But then you realize that it's not even you, but then you're reading, like you're living your life through the book, through other people's experiences, other people's past, and other people's opinions on various matters. And it's so surreal because you begin to feel like reading it one time is not going to just cut it. you know you feel like I have to go a second, a third, a fourth time, and then each time you go in, there's this new. It's like the book is revealing itself in different shades and different colors. So at each point in time that you go back in, you find a different understanding, you find a different insight in there, and it's amazing. So it makes it beyond timeless, and definitely is
Yeah,
needed for this time and all times.
yeah, I
You will have
completely agree with Darius. The book, it's really timeless. I don't think there ever will be a time where we would feel like it's gone obsolete. And in as much as it's letters of hope to my younger self, it's not only targeted to young people. I still feel like everybody can actually benefit from it, in that these amazing people doing great things out there have been able to share their vulnerability. They've been able to share their authentic stories, right? And we will get to read it, get the opportunity to stand on their shoulders, to see what potential outcomes we would have, okay, or what potential outcomes our lives can take. And we are able to find inspiration not only in their insights, but we are able to get a greater understanding of and meaning and clarity to improve our own unique journeys. So it's really a timeless piece, I'd say.
okay. Happy, once again back to you. That's it. Let me ask, was there any of the stories that struck an emotional chord within you? And what did you feel?
Yes, yes, yes. I would take Cynthia Jifakwaku's story any day. Reason being, she emphasizes authenticity, and authenticity is one of my core values. And I would try to link it up with what we are seeing on social media currently. There's a lot of fading out of the ethical fabric, and a a lot of people are portraying a facade, something that is not the reality. And a lot of people are feeling pressured because of what people put out there. And because people are not staying authentic and true to themselves, somebody can actually be in Ghana and say that maybe he's in this location or he's driving this car, which, I mean, it's rented, but they are putting on this facade. They even got maybe a bag, a Louis Vuitton bag to be advertised, but they portray it as if it's theirs. They are in a hotel room and pretending as if it's their, 5-star apartment or something. And it's really disheartening for me, because a lot of people are looking at our lives as lessons, right? So if we keep putting out this false, image, a lot of people get pressure to feel like they are failures or they are not, doing anything with their lives. And I think it's really not the best.
So emotionally, how did you feel reading that story?
Well, it was disheartening. And I feel like we authenticity or being honest is very much underrated in our current society. And most of the time people, get desperate because they're not getting the likes. Oh, this person posted this, I've also posted it, I need the likes and traction and external validation. Because I'm not getting it, I'm depressed. Meanwhile, it's just an algorithm, right? So I feel if we are being authentic and true to ourselves, we may not influence people, in that, negative way that would affect their mental
Darius,
health.
you are a man. Was there any story that struck the emotional chord? Like, how did you feel at that instance?
Oh boy. Again, we're back to Samuel Kirk Mills. I think I should meet him personally after we're done with this whole session, because I feel I'm going to base most of my, we share quite, a lot of things from his story. So, Samuel goes in deep and talks about how he suffered from, you know, his experiences with education, and how fast forward he became a doctor of education. Now, he having to navigate low self-esteem, and then ensuring within that period that whatever that he was going through didn't make him bitter, struck a very strong emotional chord within me, because I'd gone through few phases of myself. I mean, and I could relate clearly with what he was saying, because then whilst I read his story, I started reflecting. I was just reminiscing things that I had also gone through, and then the points in my life that I felt like, oh my goodness, I want to just give up. I mean, I don't want to do this anymore. It's just too much. So it took me way deeper than I thought was even possible. And it brought about some sense of relief to make me feel like, you know what, you're not alone. Someone has gone through it. Someone has come out of it. This could be your story, Darius. This could be your story. So I really, really, really sunk into that truth, and I decided to make it my own, which is why I was very happy when he started with the race is not for the swift. And then he goes on to say, because all things work together for good, don't give up. Don't give up.
I like this. I like this. I will take this myself before I come to you, Chris. I one story that really, really got my emotion was the story of Joe Metzer. You know, um, this book is one of the books that really gets to you personally, because you see the stars out there, but you don't know the story behind the stars. So when I read he had to leave and then go and settle elsewhere, thinking education might be okay, it was just like I was reading it outside and I was reading it at a very, very solemn place. So before I realized, I felt like it was like tears were almost dripping, because I found myself in his shoes, because whatever happened to him most had happened to me as well. So I felt we'll get to there. But Chris, in Sam, did you feel any story? Did you feel any emotional chord being struck in you by any story.
Hi, Christabel. Can you hear us? I think that question went to you,
Okay,
whether or not, I
okay,
mean, any of the stories.
okay. So the story that really got to me was the first story by Dr. Victor Bampoy. I, you know, all my life, I've always been thinking that for you to be lacking financially is is the major problem or is the problem. So I hate to find myself in a corner whereby sometimes what you eat. So to me, all my life, I was thinking that, oh, Charlie, if you don't have money or you are lacking somewhere, you need money to do something and you are not getting it. That is a major problem, and that was actually the only problem in the world. Until I read this man's story, I was like, no, I can't face this. Like epilepsy, and you get to the university and it was hard. In fact, I really felt for the man, and it was very comforting to me to know that he's actually not going through it again and he's now somewhere. And at a point, all your friends, because the embarrassment was so much. Because if you read the man's story, you get to know that it wasn't, this is a man who was coming from a good background home. He actually stayed in a university campus. So all was well, like financially, the mother was there, the dad was there. And then from nowhere, epilepsy. How was he supposed to face the world? And there was a saying that no man is an island. That it's not possible that you are going to be there and you say, I don't want to go out or I don't want to find myself at where people are because I have a problem called epilepsy. No. So how will you even achieve your dreams? How are you going to even work towards your goals? So in fact, Dr. Bampoi's story really got to me. It really got to me, and I was so sad. And it dawned on me that no, my case is better than someone because I cannot face this. If I'm hungry and at the end of the day I've ironed my dress, if I'm hungry and I've ironed my dress and I am walking majestically in the street, nobody is going to know that I'm hungry. No fingers will be pointed at me. But epilepsy, you'll be there, then it happens. Everybody gets
Shoots
to
up.
know. And then when you,
Yeah.
you, you come to your full awareness, you don't even know what to do, what you're going to do, how you're going to face your friends, how you're going to face the people. It was a very difficult
Yeah.
thing.
So
And I really felt for him.
okay. Okay. So I share my story as well. Part of Joe Mettel's story says there were prophets who foretold of his future, and his current state didn't allow him to believe in what was happening. And that got me emotional. It's funny, guys, don't laugh. So in 20, I think 2014, 15, thereabout, I was booking. So I was in Brekum for a program. And as soon as I entered into the church, this man of God popped up. Age-wise, I am older than the guy. He's a young reverend. Then he's like, hey, you are this is your name. You are from here and there, and you are going to be this, you are going to be that. People's life are hooked to you. I go hungry and I left. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe all the things he was telling me were going to pass. So it's like Joe's story. Joe says whenever the prophet said something like that, he doubted. He really doubted because what you are going to never give a hint of the future. So that's what got me emotional because it really did. It really did. But let me ask you guys. Happy, let me come back to you from your own point of view, right? From your own point of view, what do you think the central themes
Yeah.
are for the entire group based on the topics you are reviewing? What do you think the central theme is?
Well, I wouldn't say one. I have about seven. So first of all, um, one of the themes is unwavering hope and faith, hard work and consistency. That's the second. resilience. That's the third. There's the bit of self-awareness, acceptance, and confidence. Self-awareness, acceptance, and confidence. There's the fifth, which is mindset shifts, right? There's purpose, power, and legacy. And then the last one, I would say tests, suffering, and then the universal wilderness experience. I mean, this is how I have categorized it, and I feel it runs through almost everybody's story. Yeah.
Yeah. Darius, what were the central themes in your point of view?
Two words. Two words for me. And then those two words are one, transformation, and two, evoke. Transformation and evoke. Now, evoke is to bring or recall like a feeling, a memory, an image to the conscious mind. Okay. Now, if you are able to bring this memory or this image or this feeling to the conscious mind, what do you do with it? You use that to transform the present. So for me, this is what all the people who contributed to the writing of this book had in mind in terms of the central theme. Because each and every one went into themselves and evoked their feelings, their memories, both pleasant and unpleasant, and the various images that made up the fabric of their own lives. And they used that to transform and become who they are today to share the stories they are sharing with us now. So two words,
Sure,
evoke
sure.
and transform.
Evoke and transform. Good. Chris, what's in your point of view, what's your team? The team that runs through the entire stories you read from the book.
I don't know if the background is working. The network is not working in my room. And I think there's a funeral in my neighborhood
It's
too.
okay. It's okay.
So I'm going to manage it like that. So the
It's okay.
central,
It's okay.
if I'm to give themes like major themes and minor themes, I'll give shout. But then I think the 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 one I concluded on is we are limitless. We are limitless. There is no limitation upon our lives. It doesn't matter where you are coming from. It doesn't matter who you are, how you look, where you are now. It doesn't matter. Even if you are bedridden, we are limitless. We can achieve so much. These are people, some are from a very poor background, some faced like challenges that money couldn't solve. But at the end of the day, they were able to make it. I think as human beings, we are limitless and we can achieve all that we put our minds on to achieve.
All right. All right.
Thank you.
So, from my perspective, I after reading the entire book, I still came back to hope once again. So if we check my diary here, I still wrote hope because I saw hope as the major thing. Like that's what I found. And then I also found another story because I realized all the people at the end of the day, they will mention at least God, God, God to show there's God who knows the end from the beginning. And I one of my characters says life is lived forward but understood backwards because it's only God who knows everything ahead of you. So I think for me, and happy, I also have resiliency. I have hope, God, resilience, and total conviction. You should be convinced, like you have that conviction that it's never going to get worse. No matter how it is, we will get through. So for me, that is the central themes I have found in the entire story. And I'll start this with myself before I come to you all. What lessons did we learn from the book? If we check through my book, someone wants to read my book, but unfortunately, I've written a lot in it. But I came out with just one sentence. Learn. For me, learn to talk to God as a person, a friend. don't learn about God from somebody else. And it still came back from the story of Joe Metzel. I didn't expect that story to get to me as much, but I realized it's there's been several times. I'm a teacher, basic school teacher in a rural area, and every morning, as soon as you wash down, you step out of your gate, you see poverty. You step out of your gate, you see illiteracy, and I keep asking God why. And the funny thing, as I kept reading, I got to a place where Joe said he had to ask God, God, why? Why are you doing this to me? And it also comes up with one experience I had about 4 months ago. There was this cultural event organized in our area here at the community center. And we were there. I saw a lot of multitude. There was a different kind of compassion that moved through me. I just couldn't sit. Something was striking my heart. I stood up and left the place. And before I realized, there were tears flowing. Asked me what was happening. I didn't know. All I knew was that I had a calling to do. I had a calling to do. I had a calling. So I have come to realize from the book that no matter what it is, just decide there's a God and I can speak to him on my person. I can sit down, talk to him. So that was the greatest lesson I learned, aside all other things. And let's come back to Darius once again. What's in one sentence? What's the lesson you learned?
Yes, thank you, Francis. John Francis, sorry. I'm going to borrow from Samuel again. He said, never give up on God's word to you. Never give up on God's word to you. So, your path in life will most likely not be conventional, but once you have been able to understand what God's word is about you, for you, and to you, you would stay the course and you'll be able to find all the energy, all the positivity, all the things that you need to set your mind right, to put you, one foot in front of the other each day that you have the troubles coming in, and then you'll be able to navigate this thing called life. But then, most importantly, if you do not know what, and many of us don't know what God's word is to us. So, therefore, we try to find that word in different ways from different sources and try to fulfill that void of curiosity with other things. So, once we do not know what God's word is to us, chances are we are going to miss our way and we are going to find ourselves not being able to recover from certain decisions that we take. All not to sound gloomy, but then in as much as there are you know chances for us to always turn our lives around, we have to also remember that sometimes consequences are very dear and we may not be able to recover from them. So if we have the chance to be able to learn and we have the chance to be able to avoid and we have the chance to be able to make a proactive decision about something, okay, then let's take that path instead of waiting to find out, because sometimes the cost of the consequences may not be forgiven.
Um, Happy. I would want you to give
Yeah.
me your lesson. I would
Okay.
want you to give me your lesson in connection to any of the stories that made you learn a new lesson from the book.
Well, I'd say there's a lot of lessons I've picked from the book. Okay. And with Cynthia's talk about uncertainty, right? Where when we are in a situation of uncertainty, just pick one thing, decide this is what I want to do and run with it. I mean, you may not know what that future holds or what it brings, but just run with it and focus. Focus. Work so hard. I mean, what's the point in holding yourself back? Just take the risks. Chances are, if you win, you will be a step closer to the goal. And if you lose, you become wiser. And most of the time, we need to reinforce the fact that failure is inevitable. Like all these great men, one common theme, they failed at certain points in life. So you can't wish failure away. You can't choose that I always want to win. So there's no point in trying to avoid it. Just embrace it, embrace the suffering, embrace the failures, because it's one thing life is teaching you. And until you learn that lesson, you can't move to the next step. So embrace all the setbacks, embrace the negative emotions with gratitude and curiosity. Because until you learn that lesson, you can't move forward. So, I mean, all this, most of them keep referring to the God factor. And it is every experience we have is part of God's plan. And it is meant for our good. And we can't be tempted beyond what we can take or we can, overcome. So just embrace all of it. Find yourself, find that inner. Sometimes we don't know ourselves, so we try to project to others. We don't know what we want, so we are letting people influence our lives. But you just have one job in life, right? Take care of you. Find who you are, find what you want, and run with it. You get, curveballs, there will be setbacks, but embrace all of it, all the lessons, all the positivity. And I think you succeed with life. Yeah.
Sure. So, Chris, I'm going to come to you for your lesson from the book. But guys, before I come back from Chris, I will ask you about surprises you found. The life story that you really found as a surprise. You didn't expect to see this. So, Chris, you will give me your lesson you learned from the book and start with the surprise you found in any of the stories. So, take it on.
Okay. With the lessons, Dr. Teddy says, do not stop believing. You should dream hard. Don't stop believing. And the lesson I actually took home was you should dream hard. According to him, he said now he finds himself in a situation where he's just smashing the goals and the dreams that some time ago he had. And he said he dreamt a lot. Like he had a lot of dreams, and like by now he would be achieving more. So he was actually advising his younger self to be dreaming more. So that was the actual lesson I picked home. So now, though I had my goals a lot, I have added up and I'm going to add, because I know that one day I'm going to find myself in a situation whereby I can smash them all and I can achieve all that I dream. So I am dreaming hard and I'm dreaming more. That was my lesson. And with a surprise.
Now, what about the surprise?
With a surprise. What surprises me? Nothing. Nothing. Maybe if we had done this discussion earlier, maybe some years back, a lot of things might have surprised me, like Joe Metals' situation, because I know Joe Metal is a star, a celebrity, like a big man. You don't deserve it, but no, it's not a surprise to me. So none of what I read surprised me. No, there were no surprises for me.
Yeah. No, no. Did you find any of the characters and
Hello. Yeah, Francis.
Yeah, I was really happy. Yeah, please, microphone.
Okay. All right.
Okay, good. Happy. Your surprises.
I think that no problem. That's fine. So for me, I think I got the impulse of how much perception and stigma affects people. And especially the stigma with, someone born out of infidelity. The child is innocent, but we take it out on these kids and make them feel like, they don't belong. And no one, I've never even thought of that experience for someone. We never even get to put ourselves in their shoes. And it's not just with this generation. Everybody is just quick to judge. to, cast the first stone, forgetting that we have bigger planks within our own eyes. Recently there was something in the news where there was a pastor that committed suicide because a video of his infidelity leaked on a church page. In as much as he was unwilling to forgive himself, he was more concerned about what the church thought about. God would have forgiven you. He would have forgiven himself in the long run, but he was more concerned about what people thought about, his act or what he did. People do worse things, but this just goes a long way to reinforce the fact that perception, how we treat people, the stigma, and how how we judge people, it really goes a long way to affect their mental health. So let's just be kind, let's love more and live more.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Happy. So guys, technically we have about 15 to 40 minutes to go, but we'll finish this. Now, Darius, in just a sentence, what surprise did you find in the book?
Hey, after giving us time check, how can I talk? Okay, so for me, I would say in a very short sentence, I would say that courage. I was very surprised at how much courage the contributors of the book had, because it takes a lot of courage to be able to address your fears, actually share them with even one person, and then decide to share it to the whole world through a book. It's amazing. I was really, really surprised at the kind of courage that was showcased by the contributors of the book. And for me, I mean, it's shall I say uh, it's a sign that we should all be comfortable embracing our truths and then helping to share it out there so that those who are coming after us, or even those who are before us, or in the same age group as us, can learn from our experience. Thank you.
So before I come back to my own surprise I found, I've been smiling all this while because of the surprise I found, but let me come back. I'm going to ask you guys that, is there just a single passage in the book that you found this one resonates with my person? Just a passage. But before I come back, let me share the surprise I found. I've been smiling. Reverend Epia had to come back from the diaspora and live in Ghana. Today, by 7 p.m., Terminal 3, everybody's leaving. Then you are there working in the Fortune 500 company. You are coming back to the country. I was like, this woman, are you okay? Why leaving your job and coming back to Ghana to become a priest? In Ghana, we don't respect priests. We are like, oh, they are taking our money here and there. And you are coming back. Working. I was like, come on. And that was my first story I was supposed to review. I was like, this woman, is everything okay? But all the same, I've come to understand the assignment. So let's see, guys, sharp, quick as possible. Was there a passage that you found? Look, this passage actually belongs to me. Was there anything like that in any of your stories? Chris, in just a single passage, let's see. Was there a passage you found in the book?
Okay, so by Mrs. Matilda Emisata, she said, do you think you are not receiving the recognition you deserve, even though you are working hard and you are getting the results? And it was linked to when I was in the classroom teaching. The headmistress I was working with, I was working hard. I was working extremely hard because English was my field and I was doing everything. And with my first batch, I think I had about 2-3 students in a very remote area, and I had about 3 students who had 1 in English, and that was the first time they were even saying it, like, it is your batch, you are the first person to get 1 in English. These are students who finds it very difficult to speak basic English, to express themselves in English. So you ask yourself, how? Sometimes you meet them even when it is not within the school hours. You are meeting them very early on weekends in the evening. I was working very hard. But my headmistress never appreciated me. And when I saw this, so at a point I was discouraged and I was no more doing that.
All right. Happy.
Happy.
Yeah. So for me, I would say Elizabeth Irene's story. Um, Hi Darius, could you kindly mute? There's a bit of interference. Thank you. Awesome. So, like I said, Elizabeth Irene's insights on talent, habits, and consistency is really resonates with me. Also because I have multiple talents. I'm not bragging, but sometimes I give excuses for not, following through everything. And time again, we've proven that we can multitask and everything. But sometimes, if things don't go as planned, it doesn't mean that we should put our lives on hold. You know, um, some of us are sitting waiting for the motivation to be able or inspiration to write, to draw, to write a new song, to go on that adventure. But that inspiration is not going to come in your pain, in your current frustration. Let that propel you to act, to move you to make a change. And when you're able to do it, stick to it, stay consistent every day. You are contributing daily to that goal. And if it doesn't work, then again, if it doesn't work, don't identify with your failures. Okay. I mean, it happens. You don't sit there, brooding over the fact that you couldn't write those papers, you couldn't do this. Just identify with the verb. Don't identify with whether or not you're a writer. No. I Am I writing now? What are you doing about it now? So yes, let's stay disciplined. Let's make sure that we are making positive incremental changes to that talent, to that goal. If we are to succeed at whatever endeavor we choose to go on.
Okay. So, guys, we are doing well. We have about 7 minutes, and we still have about two things to talk about before our time runs out. But let's not talk about the time. Darius, before you share a passage that resonates with your person, um, I want to also you have to share the passage and then tell us just a single quote throughout the entire book. Did you find any quote that look, this is my quote? So you answer for the passage that resonates with you, then you tell us about the quote that you learned from the book. So let's see.
Okay, so my passage is going to come from Mame Afon El Betsai. I think that's the full name. She, well, in that passage, she makes us understand how she encountered so many setbacks and curveballs, and how she was able to use that to build endurance and resilience to be able to, transform herself and then to now get to where she was. And more importantly, that showed that all that thing that she was going through, prepared her for what she is going to become. So I would want to say that the passage that talks about encounter delays and then setbacks and then curveballs, okay, should also highlight to us, okay, in terms of what resonates with me, that we need these things to be able to prepare ourselves, and that they are not bad things per se that happen to us. So then the governing quote I would say is always be a bold and authentic version of you, or be a bold and authentic
Bold.
version of yourself. That's my governing quote. Thank you.
Sure. The way happy is nodding to it. Happy, please bring yours. Just bring yours.
Okay, so my quote, I love all of them by the way, but the one I would stick to is, I think death is not what I fear. What I fear is to give up when I shouldn't have given up. We have so much potential, and it's not our darkness or incapabilities that frightens us. It's the fact that we have so much potential, we are afraid we can't achieve them. And so Angela Oti. Thank you so much for that amazing quote.
Yeah, Chris, just your favorite quote from the book.
Okay, so my life governing quote: you should do unto others what you want others to do unto you. That is the golden rule, and I think it is so much underrated. We don't pay attention to it, and that is the reason for the world's suffering, because we are, empathy is missing. We don't put ourselves in people's shoes again, and we don't mind what the other person feels, and that's the reason for our suffering today. So I picked that particular governing quote, and I think we should all hold on to it, doing unto others what we want others to do unto us.
All right. If I don't share my quote, it's a cheat. So I share mine. So my quote comes from Father Campbell, and he's a man that's a man of an assignment. And according to him, he 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 has to be serving people until he dies, and he knows the creator wants him to do it. So he was sick and was sent to the hospital. Everybody thought, look, father won't come back here and there, but he came back. And as soon as he came back, 3 days later, he was at his workplace serving the lepers, the poor, the street people. So according to him, and please allow me to read this, he says that I want to be remembered as a man who brought love and healing to these people. I chose that quote because I am a teacher, and I've had friends leave me because they feel like, look, your potential, don't go and stay in the village and in the classroom. All my friends are leaving. People think you're not doing. Sometimes you yourself, you get broken by what's happening. But anytime I'm able to serve my people, I feel like I've achieved something great. So, and on my wall here, it's there. I want to be remembered as the young guy who lived for others. So when I saw Father Campbell, not from Ghana, from Scotland, coming to stay and wants to die here, dying for the people, helping the people until he dies. Look, that just was my quote, and I can't leave it. Now, the last thing on our schedule, guys, relax. How do we use this book as a tool? Just relax and let's talk about this heart to heart. You know, if you read this, every chapter resonates with your person. You are seeing new things. Like there's some kind of hope. The things I've written down, I didn't see any of them, a lot of things. But how do we use this book as a tool? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. How do we use this book as a tool in this age, as we have had the privilege to be using this book hopes? How then do we use the book as such tool to encourage others? So let's start with Darius.
Okay, so you cannot give what you don't have, right? So I would say that first and foremost, leadership is through influence. So if you really want to inspire young people to overcome obstacles and challenges, you have the perfect opportunity to use this book to overcome the obstacles and challenges in your life so that you can easily become a real living, you know, an example to the people that you are trying to teach about the greatness and then the effectiveness and what this book can give to you or how it can shape your life altogether, because you need to be the testimony that you are sharing to the people so that they don't feel disconnected. Because when we go out there, I mean, in the streets of Accra, you'd see a lot of hawkers with books. And then you ask yourself, how are you telling me to buy a book that you're handing out that says how to become a millionaire? But then you're hawking the street with that same book. Then you ask yourself the question, you understand? You ask yourself the question. So now I strongly believe that if we can truly, digest this book and let it transform our lives, our personal lives, that will be the biggest tool to be able to inspire any of the young people that are in our lives or that are coming up. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy. The way you are happy, happy is happy. So please tell us.
I'm always happy by the way. So first of all, how do we get to GES? Because this needs to be integrated in the curriculum some way, somehow. Like right from the roots. There are life lessons that we don't want to lose out on. And like I said earlier, it's not just for young people, it's for parents who need advice on how to even handle their kids, experts, institutions, educational institutions. I feel like if we could partner with schools, colleges, youth organizations who are doing a youth time away, there should be a way where we get more people to get all the insights that have been shared in this book. Let's also form book clubs. Let's do mentorship programs where, if there are already existing podcasts where, people get the opportunity to interact with their mentors, or we get to have one-on-one conversations with all these amazing authors. It would be great. All these people would be great. And I'm also looking at a social media campaign. Anybody who gets to read the book, share a quote, share some key takeaways, encourage people within your own circle to read it. Because
Mhm.
as you know, you've gotten a lot of inspiration and you don't want to be selfish. Share, 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 share.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Happy.
Yeah, I think we
I think
lost Don
Francis
Francis.
is falling.
Am
Uh,
I back?
he's back.
Is it okay, guys? Okay. All right. So, Chris, you and I are in the same field as teachers, but in your person, before your profession, how do you think that this book can be used as a tool to inspire others who are going through difficult times? What do we do?
What do we even do? What do we do? I think everyone who is literate should, I don't know how, but then everyone who can read should get access to this book, especially those at the remote areas in the villages. And I think, a discussion like this should have been held on the television, you understand? Like New Day, some morning show programs, so that I think it will get to many ears. A lot of people will get to know. I think through that we may not, if this should take place on a television or any media platform, we may not discuss everything, but then it's going to give people that curiosity to try and find the book and read. Before I read this book, I had read and I had heard a lot about Nelson Mandela, and I was like, hey, so this man was able to become a president, even though it happened that he was in prison for many years. How was that possible? And these are similar stories. These ones, like I said earlier, they are part of their autobiographies. It's not someone who is saying it, they themselves. So I think a lot of ears, I don't know the know-how, but a lot of ears should hear about this book and should get access to the book and read. For me, I have learned a lot, and I hope it happens to everyone who gets access to it.
Okay. For my person, I like Happy said initially, I side with you a lot, especially with children and young people. Having been a person that goes with young people almost every day, I run a library. This book is going to be there. Unfortunately, I've written on it. I often don't give the books I write inside to people, but I'll have to send this to a library. And children must read this. They should read and know that their heroes that they've already seen on the television just didn't become heroes like that. It began from somewhere. Like the story of Joe, I've keep mentioning the story of almost everybody. These are people that had it hard, but they still made it. But I feel I feel we can start a push. Try at least to get one copy. And then, the problem with Ghana is that when books come, people do not get to read. People, I don't know if it's the time of the moment, people don't read, people don't get the time to sit down. Yet,
I think Francis
is it okay? Am I
is.
back? Good. Let me just conclude. So I feel this should be in libraries. Wherever there's a library, we should find a way of getting one to the library, and not just inside the library, but letting the people, that the library keepers and the people who come to the library, get, not even being discussed. Me like this, I'll have to discuss. We have to discuss some of the stories in it until they start reading it one by one on their own. So I felt this is one way we can use it as a tool, because I have been encouraged by it, and I think it's going to help. So just like the message came in, guys, please can we see the copy of our books? Let's see if your copy is by you.
Yes, it is.
All right, can we say yes to this?
Yes.
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 Grab your copy, everyone. Grab your copy. Pre-order. The link is in the bio.
One last thing. I would suggest that maybe if we could have the audio version, an audiobook, it will be amazing for our friends in the corporate world, or our friends who are in the universities and even senior high school, who are like basically on the go every time, to be able to quickly just plug in, with their AirPods or anything, and then they can, go through a chapter a day or something. And I think that is going to really help transform some people I know are like in the fast-paced life, that they are not able to really sit down and catch to read. So I think the audiobook will also be an amazing tool to be able to inspire the young people.
Yes,
everybody.
Yes. Agree.
That's all right.
Please follow Abba, Anda, and Baraka. They are the authors. They are amazing women. Follow them on social media. You get updates as to how you can get your copy. I'm sure there will be podcasts that will be done, and audiobooks, and all the recommendations that we've made. So thank you, everyone.
That's right.
Francis, permit me my last words. Permit me my last words. I want to say that Dr. Victor Bampoy, like, I'm very glad that he's at a better place now. His situation was hard, and I'm very happy he's at a better place. And we are all learning that it doesn't matter where we find ourselves, it is possible. We can achieve it all. Yeah.
And by this, if any of the characters in the book is watching or whoever watch this, we are telling you that if we are able to form a club, we may be needing you to talk to our clubs. So, guys, this is the book of the moment, and you need it. You really need to read this. So, this is it. We come to the end of our moment, but we are still reading this on social media. And to the authors, look, bless you, bless you, bless you. All right, let's have a bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining.
Another 6 o'clock is here. Wake up and meet the morning dear. Brand new day, it's a brand new slate. Like Barack say, yes I can. Don't let the worries of yesterday hold you down on this lovely day. Well, look up in the mirror and say, yes I can. Open your face, open your face. Not turn away, not turn away. Kani mukwala kabo Magana marekena blow Natengwa we Ubanyo fe Magana marekena blow Kani mukwala kabo
Just do it, just do it. Just do it, just do it. Just do it, time is ticking. Just do it. Tired of lying to yourself, don't you know you are your best bet? Who you waiting for? Who you waiting for? You've got all you need more. They will only help when it's convenient. Tell you all of this is for experience. She put no on your body and your wild hand. Just take a step and things will fall in place. See when time flies, no one can catch it. So don't waste all your regret it. Your time is now, your time is now. Just believe and say yes I can. Find your faith, find your faith. Not tell away.
Kani mukwala kabo Magana marekena blow Natengwa we Ubanyo fe Magana marekena blow Kani mukwala kabo
Don't wait, the time will never be just right. Start from where you're standing now. Work with what you have. Work with what you got.
No one said it would be easy. Anyone that ever made it said it wasn't easy. Hey, well look up in the mirror and say yes I can.
Find your faith, find your